We're all after the same thing, right? A long, healthy, vibrant life. But what if I told you the power to add years to your life and, more importantly, life to your years isn't in some futuristic lab, but it's sitting right there in your kitchen? So let's jump right in.
And that really is the big question, isn't it? Today, we're going to explore that. We're going to break down 10 powerhouse foods that really form a blueprint for longevity, all based on what the science is telling us. So what's on the menu for a longer life? Let's find out.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the guardians. I'm talking about the foods that basically stand watch over your body's two most critical command centers. Yep, your heart and your brain.
And here they are. Berries, nuts, olive oil, and fatty fish. I want you to think of this group as the ultimate security detail for your heart and brain. And each one, it has a very specific job to do.
Now what's really fascinating here is that these foods don't just work alone. They work together, like a team. So you've got berries like blueberries and strawberries. They're just packed with these things called polyphenols that act like a shield for your brain cells. Then you have nuts, which bring in those healthy fats and minerals to help lower the risk of heart disease. Of course, olive oil, a total cornerstone of the Mediterranean diet. It kind of pulls double duty, supporting both the heart and the brain. And rounding out the team, you've got fatty fish like salmon, delivering those incredible omega-3s. These are just brilliant at reducing inflammation and keeping your heart ticking along nice and strong. So you see, this isn't just a shopping list. It's really the blueprint for a super powerful defense system.
Okay, so we've got our protectors. Now, let's move on and see how we can build on that from protecting our most vital organs to actually building the foundation of our entire body. Think about it this way. If your body were a skyscraper, these next foods, they're the steel and concrete. They're what keeps everything strong and stable.
So who are these foundation builders? Well, they're two pretty humble but incredibly mighty groups: legumes and whole grains. Yeah, these guys are all about providing that core structure for your metabolic health and just giving you that steady, reliable energy that gets you through the day.
All right, so let's get into the details a little bit. Legumes. I'm talking about things like lentils, chickpeas, black beans. They are just packed with fiber and plant-based protein. And that combination, it's absolutely fantastic for stabilizing your blood sugar and keeping your gut happy, which is so important. Then you have whole grains, right? Things like oats and quinoa. They're also fiber champions, and they've been shown to directly lower the risk of major metabolic issues like diabetes and obesity. So put them together, and they form this really resilient foundation that honestly supports everything else in your body.
Okay, so we've guarded the brain and we've built the foundation. What's next? Well, now we're going to zoom in. I mean, way in. We're going down to the microscopic level to look at the foods that manage your cellular defense system. These are the ones fighting battles for you every single day.
So meet the special forces. We've got leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, green tea, and turmeric. And just like a real special forces squad, each member here has a unique skill set for protecting your cells from damage and keeping them in absolute top working order.
But before we get into how they work, we need to talk about their main weapon, antioxidants. So what are they? Well, to put it simply, these are the good guys. They are literally your body's personal bodyguards at the cellular level. Their job is to neutralize threats that cause damage and speed up aging. And trust me, this is a super critical concept to get.
Okay, so with that in mind, here's the team in action. First, leafy greens like spinach and kale, they just deliver this flood of vitamins and, you guessed it, those antioxidants we just talked about, which help slow down aging. Then you've got your cruciferous veggies, think broccoli. These contain a really special compound called sulforaphane that actually helps your cells detoxify themselves. Green tea, it's packed with something called catechins, and studies have actually linked these to longer lifespans. And finally, turmeric. It gives us curcumin, which is this incredibly potent anti-inflammatory that directly takes on age-related diseases. So really, this group is like your internal cleanup and repair crew, working 24/7.
All right, so we've got our heart and mind guardians, we've got our foundation builders, and we have our cellular defense system. Now for what might be the most important part. How in the world do we get them all working together on our plate?
And this brings us to the real secret, the key behind this entire longevity blueprint. I want you to completely forget the idea of a single magic bullet or some miracle superfood. The real power, the real magic, it comes from synergy. It's what happens when these foods from all three of our pillars work together. They literally amplify each other's benefits, and that creates a health effect that is so much greater than the sum of its parts.
And the good news is,
Building your plate is way simpler than you might think. So number 1, start with a colorful base. Think leafy greens, think berries. 2, add some of those powerful plant proteins from legumes. 3, make sure to include those heart-healthy heroes, maybe a drizzle of olive oil or a nice piece of salmon. And number 4, don't be afraid to spice it up for defense with a little dash of turmeric. See? It's a really simple framework for building your own longevity blueprint, one meal at a time.
So, as we start to wrap this up, the real question isn't for me, it's for you. And listen, you don't have to do it all at once. That's not the point. Just take a look at the 3 pillars we've covered, the guardians, the builders, and the defenders, and just ask yourself a simple question. Which one of these are you going to add to your foundation starting today?